I'm trying to think. Yeah, because I launched my business right during the pandemic too. Like literally, March 15th was kind of the lockdown.
Yeah.
April was when I launched my website, and my whole line is like high-end accessories to a world that's everyone's home. So yeah, that's I'm gonna have to sit with that question for myself as well. But this is about you. So hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of PS Make Me Famous. Today, I'm interviewing Kim Rothenberg, who is co-owner with her husband of Lagree, which is an amazing fitness program here in Calgary, Alberta, but also across the globe.
That's right.
You guys have the rights to Western Canada?
Okay, so we have the license to operate in Alberta, in Calgary specifically. So you purchase a license that allows you to have access to the equipment as well as teaching the Lagree method.
Right. Do you want to just talk a little bit about what Lagree is for people who are watching and don't know?
Yeah, so Lagree did evolve out of Pilates. Sebastian Lagree will say, don't call it Pilates because it's not Pilates, but it did evolve out of Pilates. And it's a workout, a total body intense workout, no impact though. You go super slow on a machine called the Megaformer. It's phenomenal because it really allows you to get into those smaller, hard to work areas like your glutes, your core, inner thighs, that kind of thing. So really phenomenal, quick, effective, efficient, total body workout.
And what was Sebastian's background?
So originally, he's a French fellow who went to LA, to Hollywood. His dream was to become an actor, but he, had some difficulty in that area. But he's this super tall, big, fit guy. And he was hired pretty quickly to work at a gym as a personal trainer. And at the gym, you needed to be certified in Pilates as well. So he started using the Pilates reformer and he loved it. He saw that people really, their core got stronger pretty quickly. But what he found was that they plateau fairly quickly. And he didn't really like that. He really wanted to challenge his clients. So he ended up creating his own machine, starting with the Proformer. So it sort of looks like a reformer, but it allowed people to, get a more intense full body workout in a short period of time. And things just exploded from there.
Right. Because the Lagree class is 45 minutes.
Yes.
Right.
So really, again, effective, efficient, hitting all the parts just in a short period of time.
So for me, I'm a huge fan. When I first started Lagree, I was like, what just happened to my body? Because you're right. You think I'm a dancer and I got like all my stability, all my core, like I'm good. And then you're like, what?
The same thing happened to me. I discovered the workout in New York. I was a personal trainer at the time. And I remember getting started in the class. The instructor's like, okay, you're going to do a move called wheelbarrow. Didn't know what that was. I could like squeeze out 2 reps before I needed to take a break. I'm like, what is going on? I can't believe how challenging this is, but challenging in such a good way. It blew my mind the way it hit different muscles that just weren't used to being targeted. And I really felt like, oh my goodness, Calgarians would love this. This would be such a great fit.
Right. And what's amazing is literally the next day, I literally visually could see a difference in my body in one class, which is
And I've heard
insane.
people say that. I mean, it's often people who are used to working out already, their bodies respond quickly. But I've heard that from a number of people where they feel like their core is
Yes.
more defined or tighter, even their glutes. So
And like all
pretty cool.
cinched inwards and like in a weird way. It was like I saw definition for the first time in like forever. I was like, oh, no, but it's amazing. Like obsessed. But how many years did it take Sebastian to create this reformer? Do you know this? Bring him in. We should zoom him in.
Yeah.
Sebastian.
That I don't know. I don't know from, start to
Yeah.
finish how long. I think it was a process. I know that he developed it, I think pretty quickly. Like he just worked with a company and was tweaking kind of the reformer
Yeah.
to make it into something else. And it was really originally just for himself. So he ended up having, I think, four of them, and he would train people from like his apartment where he had them in his living room.
Because
And
it's not a cheap piece of equipment. This is like the Lamborghini of fitness.
yes, each machine runs approximately $10,000 US.
Yeah.
Some even more now. Like I think he's really upped the prices too.
Mhm.
So yeah, he started off just running these small groups in his apartment. And there were people approaching him saying, I'd love to open a studio. This is so great. And that's kind of how things evolved.
Right. And I love that a lot of the people who took Lagree got so passionate about it and they want to become teachers, instructors.
Yes, that has definitely happened at our studio. So many of our instructors were former members who just fell in love with the method and are, so passionate about it. And yeah, it's great. We have an awesome team now. They're
Yeah.
very passionate people.
And Lagree was Top Choice Fitness Center for 2019, 2020, and with 2021.
Even though we were only open for, 6 months out of the year.
Right.
Yes.
So let's talk about that when your doors had to close twice because we had two shutdowns, lockdowns. How did you pivot?
So the first time, I'll never forget this day. It was March 15th, 2020, which happens to be my birthday. So we made the decision to close. That was the first time around, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. It was also really scary because we just didn't know what the future would look like. We didn't know how long we'd be closed for. We didn't know if we'd get any financial support. So it was like, is this it? And what we did, it took us, I guess, about 2 weeks to just build out an online platform. So we went on to Zoom. We were running live classes mainly for our members to keep that connection and to just keep them doing something. And
Like, and how do you transition that? Like, what kind of classes without a Megaformer could you do?
that's a good question.
Mm.
So we called them Lagree inspired workouts. They were still really slow and controlled, like being on the Megaformer. We would still target one area and fatigue that area first. Like let's say your left leg, where that's part of the method where you're really honing in on the left leg, you burn out that side before moving on to the right leg. So we used gliders, light weights, bands. I mean, people could use soup cans or wine bottles. We had some people using wine bottles as weights, pantyhoses, bands. I mean, people were really getting creative because so many people at that point didn't have equipment at home.
Right.
So it's just like use whatever you can, whatever you can find in your house. So that's what we did. And then we were allowed to reopen about the middle of June before we had to close again. So we closed again in November and again pivoted back online. This time our offering was different. We offered Lagree inspired classes, but we also have an incredibly talented team who have experience in so many different modalities. So yoga, critical alignment, HIIT. So we ended up actually offering a bunch of different style classes to our members.
Right. And how was that transition online?
Um,
Did it feel like, because I'm just thinking like, was it almost in a weird way easier? Like to run classes online? Is that something that you'd want to continue as an option, even though you're now open?
so that's a very good question. We thought about that. We talked about whether we wanted to continue with the online platform. We made a decision to not continue with that route for a couple of reasons. It's a highly competitive market with companies like Peloton You've
Right.
seen lots of commercials, I'm sure, on TV about Peloton.
Mhm.
They've been around for a long time. They've nailed it in terms of their sophistication, the offerings that they have, their price point, their machinery, the Peloton bike, and now a treadmill. You know, there's another online platform or a company called Allo Moves that offers all types of fitness, again, for maybe $100 a year. So we just really didn't feel like that was who we were as a company. A big part of our offering is really the Megaformer.
Mhm.
We've built a phenomenal community of members. We're like family. People just love to come into the space and hang out. They love the workout, the energy, the
I
machine.
also love the intimate setting. It's not overwhelming like a large class. Like you guys kept it quite intimate.
Yes, and you know, that we pride ourselves on that, really building connections, get the instructors really getting to know the members. And I think a lot of our members were missing that in-person connection. So that's what we feel that our people are looking for. And that's why it was just about, um, you know, waiting till our doors could reopen so we could run in-person classes. While we were closed, though, we have been working behind the scenes. We're looking at doing a brand refresh. We've been repairing some of our machines. Um, you know, we are looking at expanding one of our locations. So yeah, so you know, a lot of good things.
Yeah. Especially now with rent prices going down. Like it'd be really great, that idea of expanding to a new location as well.
Mhm.
That's amazing. What a cool thing. Okay, so do you think, what is the future of Lagree if we were in a forever pandemic situation?
Well, do we
Sorry,
get to
I hope
stay
it's not
open?
like that. The
You know,
mini Megaformer, perhaps? The mini Mega? It can be in everyone's home.
well,
Has
they do.
Sebastian talked about that?
Sebastian Lagree did create something called the
Okay.
Microformer. So that does exist,
Oh.
where you can have a little one in your home.
And what's that price point?
With all the bells and whistles, around 3,000
Okay.
US.
Mhm.
So not cheap, still
Mhm.
expensive.
Yeah.
I think it's a good option for people. It's certainly not the Megaformer, and it's certainly not the same vibe as being in class with an instructor and the music and all of that. I've had a couple of members confirm that even just a couple of days ago, because she bought one,
Mhm.
and she says it's a great alternative for now, but it's not the same as being in
Yeah.
class.
It's like when you're in class and you're like, you guys are like, come on, you could do it. That's what you need though. You need that burn out. So like me, if I had my microformer, I would probably stop after 5 reps and I would push for those 20. So I agree with you. So I was going to ask you, what is a favorite quote that you live by, especially during these difficult times with COVID? Is there something that kept ringing in your ear to keep you going?
Well, I mean, there is a quote that I try to live by, which is strive to be your best self ever. I think it's really important to always grow, to not accept status quo. So, you know, even during the pandemic, I mean, there's been a lot of ups and downs. I can't say that I've been happy and positive throughout the past year. It's been a challenge to maintain a positive attitude and stay strong, but I recognize that that's a choice.
Mhm.
So I choose to stay positive, to forge ahead, stay strong, motivate my team, and continue to improve myself, both physically and mentally.
Is there something you learned about yourself during the pandemic that you're like, wow, good job, Kim?
Um, yeah, I guess I learned that, you know, that I am capable, you know, that I am smart enough, that I can really do anything that I put my mind to.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So let's go to a favorite book that you'd recommend anyone to read to feel like inspired.
Oh my
I
goodness.
know, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't send you any pre-questions. You'll have to stay with this. Or it doesn't have to be a book of inspiration. It could be one of your favorite books that like you're like that really resonates with you, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I just when I think of books, I think of like The Nightingale or All the Light We Cannot See. I mean, these go back to like World War II and the Holocaust. And I guess, there's stories about people who stayed strong during traumatic times. I mean, the worst of the worst.
Mhm.
So stories about survival.
Yeah, and perseverance for sure. I think it's always interesting to see what people gravitate to as like literature, because I think it says a lot about kind of like that person's spirit as well. Like
Have you
constantly,
read those books?
I think one of the ones that you mentioned, Nightingale, I may have.
Yeah, phenomenal.
I read Eli Wiesel, Ellie
Yeah,
Wiesel,
you read Night?
Night, and then the other two as well.
Okay.
There's a really amazing one I read, and it was a very, it stuck with me to this day. I'm gonna have to find out what it was called. I just like picked it up from the library. It was about the Holocaust, but this woman ended up living in France afterwards. But man, that little book, and it was like the original from like 1950 or 60 that she wrote it, just
Hmm.
like really stood with me, and I need to figure out what it's called. That one always in my head, always. It stays
Wow,
forever when you read those books. They
I
really
know, definitely.
stick with you. Um, so let's ask the final wrap up fun question if you're ready.
Sure.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
You know, so I just turned 50 on
Happy,
March 15th.
yeah.
And it's so interesting because my youngest two kids are 14. So I have four kids. The youngest two are 14. And I really feel like I'm entering a new stage in life.
Mhm.
Like I actually am now, like Lenny and I are starting to talk about like what do we want our retirement years to look like? Like where do we see our future? And it is possible that it won't be in Calgary. I don't know if it will be in a little longer than 10 years. Um, I don't necessarily see continuing with Lagree. I certainly hope it will continue, but maybe somebody else will run it
Right.
because I actually see us like just kind of downsizing and maybe being able to run some sort of business from home,
Mhm.
which hence is the Arbonne side of things. But so finding a way to have a revenue stream, but sort of be semi-retired.
Right.
And
Well, I would agree because you've been hitting the pavement hard. Like this is not an easy thing to navigate or run right now. You have the two locations.
yeah,
You also have the Legree apparel line. You sell um right
Lagree
apparel,
branded
the
items,
branded
yes.
items. Your kids, I love when I come in and I see them working the front desk. It's a big family like endeavor. Everyone's in. So
Yeah, and we absolutely love it. I absolutely love the workout, the studios, the method. I don't see myself ever not loving that. But yeah, again, as you get older, you start to think about what do you want your future to look like, your retirement years to look
but that's
like.
we got 10 years, people. This isn't 10 years. We're still opening up a new location to be announced in the next few months, I hope. I
Well,
know.
from your mouth to God's ears. I
Yeah,
mean,
I hope
we're
so.
certainly looking at expanding right now.
Yeah. I also find because you've always kept it in an intimate setting, you've been really lucky that it hasn't been like the reopening has been easier than most fitness facilities.
Yeah, and also just the type of modality that we offer.
Right. And you put the screens up now, you have
Mhm.
the
Yes, so
separation.
we have barriers between each machine at our Britannia location. I mean, our protocols that we put in place are phenomenal. We've had 0 cases of transmission. So we have so many people who feel really comfortable coming to our space.
And so for someone who's never done Legree before, is there a promo or can they come in and try a class for free?
Yes, absolutely. So first class is free. After you do your first class, we suggest that you do the 2-week unlimited for $59. You can come as much as you want over a period of 2 weeks, one time per day. And that will really give you a good sense of whether it's for you or not. But of course it is.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really pretty powerful stuff if you want a really amazing workout. But again, I just want to go back to the thing I love about it. It leans and lengthens you. And I found my flexibility increased as well as my strength, which I love. I don't like to like bulk up and just get started. Like I love the flexibility factor.
And that's because you go so slowly in each and every move. For those of you out there who don't like jumping jacks or burpees, this is perfect for you because there's no impact. You go super slowly, so you're actually lengthening your muscles while you're strengthening them. So
I think I got 3 inches taller.
Hey, I got certainly half an inch taller.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I may have exaggerated with the 3 inches, but I do feel like I got a little more taller.
Yeah, definitely. It happens.
Yes. And the 2 locations, you have the Signal Hill location and the Britannia location. And if you guys want to check it out, please head to lagreeyyc.com. And Instagram, you can follow you on Instagram as well. Same handle?
Yes, Lagree YYC.
Yeah. And check out your first free class. I think that's such an amazing thing to give it a go. You're in a safe place. You got your screens. You're going to feel great. And then give it a go for that 2-week package. That's amazing. That's a really great price.
Yeah, it is.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Kim.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It was great to connect.
So it was nice to see you. All the best, love.
Yeah, thanks. Same to you. Mwah.